cracking open the world of business strategy, what it truly is, how it's defined, how it's developed, and most crucially, how it's actually executed.
Okay. We'll explore core definitions, practical frameworks you can actually apply, and even dive into the psychology behind some of the really critical leadership decisions. So yeah, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Okay, so when we talk about strategy, there are just so many misconceptions out there. Think about a struggling company's board of directors.
Right.
What are they usually wishing for in a new CEO? Someone to come in, snap their fingers, and deliver an instant, brilliant turnaround plan, right?
Yeah, the magic wand solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's this wishful thinking that often sets people up for failure. And it can even breed that sense of imposter syndrome we sometimes feel. That internal feeling of inadequacy, even when things are going okay externally. Very common when you step into a big new role.
It's a very common trap. But here's the crucial insight. If strategy isn't some magical instant fix, then it also isn't about trying to be someone you're not.
Okay.
The best advice, honestly, and what we see time and again in successful leaders, is to simply be yourself. It leads to a much better, more authentic outcome. Our sources define strategy not as a single flash of genius, but as a process to gather ideas and create actions.
How process
It's
that?
a systematic approach.
So if it's a process, how do some of the most successful business leaders actually, put that into practice?
Well, what's fascinating here is Michael Dell. He started PCs Limited in his early 20s, right?
Young guy.
Very young. But here's the kicker. Everyone else working for him was older, in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
Wow.
And he openly admitted he didn't know everything. But he understood the need for a process to collect all this knowledge from all these different, very experienced people who joined his company.
Right.
He became the facilitator of their collective input, building a coherent strategy from their actions.
That's a powerful example. Process over ego, especially for a young founder.
Exactly.
Speaking of methodical approaches, another incredible story is Robert Smith of Vista Equity,
Right.
one of the wealthiest people on the planet, top portfolio manager at Goldman Sachs.
But get this.
Yeah.
He wasn't a finance major. He was an engineering major. Yeah. And he approaches strategy not with instinct, but like an engineering problem. He talks about needing data, a framework, an image, and then a choice process that's grounded in facts.
Strategy needs to be simple and executable, not just like theoretical blueprints sitting on a shelf.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And simplicity truly is a superpower in strategy. Our sources introduce this concept of a strategy on a page.
Strategy on a page. Okay, tell me more.
It's a technique to distill everything down, make it incredibly clear and highly executable.
Right.
Larry Ellison at Oracle exemplifies this beautifully. He doesn't come up with all the strategies himself. Instead, he empowers his teams to propose them.
Okay.
But there are strict rules. You get one PowerPoint slide. You have 5 minutes to present, and it must include the cost and the return on investment.
5 minutes, one slide. Wow.
And if you don't hit your numbers, you don't get invited back.
High stakes.
Very. But what's amazing is that if he says yes, his signature on that single slide is direct budget approval.
Instantly.
Instantly. It becomes part of their capital spend. That's accountability and simplicity in action, directly linking strategy to resource allocation.
So this strategy on a page sounds incredibly efficient, but I wonder, does it ever risk oversimplifying things? Or maybe stifling innovative ideas that are harder to measure right away?
That's a fair question. The point isn't really to dumb it down, but to clarify the core objective and the measurable outcomes. Force that clarity.
Got it.
And it's not just Ellison who champions this. Richard Rimmelt, a renowned UCLA professor, he's famous for challenging CEO egos.
How so?
Well, he'd get a room full of C-suite executives and ask them to raise your hand if they have a great strategy. Lots of hands go up, naturally.
Of course.
Then he'd cut through the noise, stating that a good business strategy is essentially simple.
He hits it right on the head. Rimmelt's mantra is clear. If you can't explain your business strategy in a few minutes and a few pages, there's something wrong.
Exactly. And Michael Dell echoed this. He wanted everyone, from the C-suite all the way down to the loading dock or the truck drivers, to be able to explain the company's strategy in about 2 minutes.
Think about it. Would you want to work for a company where you don't know the strategy? Probably not.
Right. Especially for Gen Z employees today, understanding where they fit in and how their work contributes to the big picture is absolutely critical. Simpler is always better.
Okay, so now that we have a clearer idea of what strategy is, let's dive into a practical framework.
This framework basically boils down to 2 key dimensions for competitive strategies. First, your market focus. Are you going go big with a broad target market or go small with a narrow niche one?
Okay, big or small, simple enough. And the second dimension.
Market advantage. Are you going go cheap with a low-cost approach or go expensive with features through differentiation, offering something unique that people will pay more for?
Got it. So market focus, big or small, market advantage, cheap or fancy.
That's essentially it. These two dimensions, market focus and market advantage, create 4 distinct strategic quadrants.
All right, let's walk through them, maybe with some examples. That always helps.
Definitely. Let's start with cost leadership. This is broad market focus plus low cost advantage.
Broad and cheap?
Right. The goal is simple. Keep costs below competitors and target a wide market. Think about Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Okay.
It's far cheaper than Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
And it's their top-selling product. Their strategic imperative is all about scaling for widespread affordability, not trying to be a premium coffee experience.
Oh, makes sense.
Okay, what's next? Then you have differentiation, which is broad market focus and differentiation advantage.
Broad and fancy or unique?
Exactly. Here, the aim is unique attributes valued by a wide market, which lets you command a premium price. Amazon is a great example. Well, their fast, reliable shipping and that massive variety differentiate them. Even if they're not always the rock-bottom cheapest on every single item, that convenience and selection are huge differentiators for a massive audience.
Right. It's not just about price. It's the whole package.
Precisely. This strategy isn't about being the cheapest. It's about building a uniquely compelling customer experience for a huge audience. Okay, moving to the narrow focus side.
Right, the go small options.
First is cost focus. This is narrow market focus and low cost advantage.
Narrow and cheap.
Yep. You're aiming for competitive advantage through low costs, but for a specific segment of consumers, consciously excluding others. Redbox, for instance.
The DVD kiosks.
Exactly. They offer the lowest price and highest convenience for DVD rentals, remember those, to a very specific, narrow market. They carved out a profitable niche by being the undeniable low-cost option for a specific need, ignoring the streaming crowd.
Got it. Okay, and the last quadrant.
That's focus differentiation. This combines a narrow market focus with a differentiation advantage.
Narrow and fancy unique.
Right. You're reaching consumers with unique needs in a niche market, offering something highly specialized. Tesla, for instance.
Okay.
They focus on selling high-performance electric cars primarily to consumers with higher incomes. It's about a unique, often luxury product for a specific niche where customers are willing to pay a premium for those distinct features.
So this framework isn't just about putting labels on companies. It's about understanding what that choice forces you to do.
Right.
How it shapes the entire business.
Absolutely.
What kind of challenges do companies face if they, say, try to differentiate within a broadly competitive market? Or the other way around, let's try some real-world examples. What do you think about, say, Walmart versus Target?
Okay, good one. Walmart, with its always low prices motto, is clearly a broad cost leader. Their entire supply chain, their operations, everything is optimized for that.
Right.
Target, on the other hand, seems to lean more towards differentiation. They offer a more curated shopping experience, often trendier items, maybe slightly higher prices.
Yeah, it definitely feels different.
And it's crucial for them to know that distinction, because you don't want to bring expensive, differentiated products into a low-cost, broad strategy like Walmart's.
Or expect low-cost operations to support a premium brand experience like Target aims for.
Exactly. Blurring those lines just leads to confusion and inefficiency. You're trying to be two things at once.
Okay, here's a mind-bending one you mentioned earlier. SpaceX. My gut reaction is narrow, differentiated, advanced tech space travel sounds niche and premium.
You'd think so, right? But you'd be wrong. Our sources say they are actually a broad-cost leadership company.
Broad-cost leadership?
Yeah.
For rockets? How is that even possible?
It's all about the numbers and their innovative approach. Get this. SpaceX offers the cheapest rocket launch on the planet.
Cheaper than everyone else.
Significantly. Around $60 million compared to others charging maybe $240 million or more.
Wow. How do they do that?
By reusing rockets and having less redundancy in their systems. Now, that means a slightly higher risk, maybe, for incredibly valuable one-off payloads that demand absolute certainty.
That's not for everything.
Not for everything, but for companies launching weather satellites, communications satellites, things they do regularly, the lower cost makes SpaceX the clear choice. This cost leadership fundamentally alters the entire space launch market.
So they're broad because lots of different things need to go to space, and they're the cost leader. disrupting the whole industry.
Exactly, pushing everyone towards reusability and efficiency. It's brilliant strategically.
That's a truly profound insight into their impact. Okay, quick ones. Ferrari.
Oh, that's a classic example of narrow, differentiated, easy one.
Right. They aren't trying to be cheap.
Not at all. Their customers don't care if the car costs $20,000 more this year. It's about unique, high-performance vehicles for a very specific, affluent market. Exclusivity and performance are key.
And Chick-fil-A. The lines are always so long.
Definitely differentiated. Ask yourself, if they raised the price of their waffle fries by a bit, would you still buy them?
Probably. Yeah, they're good.
Most likely, yes. People are willing to pay a bit more and even wait in those long lines for their unique offerings and, frankly, their customer service. Their differentiation is built on consistency and that exceptional customer experience.
Okay.
And if you're not clear on which of those four you are, you risk indecision. You send mixed signals. You might lose customers who don't know what you stand for anymore.
So it's absolutely crucial for companies to understand which of these four they are aiming to be.
Yes. Because that choice should guide every action, every investment, every major decision they make. It provides focus.
Okay, so understanding these four strategies is crucial for making informed business decisions. But let's clarify something fundamental that you mentioned earlier, something often mistaken for strategy: budgeting.
Yes, this is a huge misconception. Richard Rummel is quite clear on this. He says, the enemy of good strategy is this quarterly, maybe monthly drumbeat of the budget.
The enemy.
Yeah.
Strong words.
Very. He explains that just extending a budget out to 3 or 5 years and calling it a strategic plan is simply financial forecasting. It's projecting numbers, not making strategic choices about how you'll compete.
Right. It describes the what, maybe, but not the how or why.
Exactly. Remember Larry Ellison? His signature on that single PowerPoint slide after the strategic decision was made, that was the budget approval.
Ah, so the budget follows the strategy.
Precisely. The budget is an after effect of strategy. It's the resource allocation that flows from a strategic choice, not the choice itself.
That makes perfect sense. So if budgeting isn't strategy, what else should a company be thinking about when it comes to long-term direction, beyond just market position and numbers? And that brings us to things like vision, mission, and values.
Precisely. A company first needs a clear vision or mission statement. What's the ultimate goal? Think of a paint company, for example.
Yeah.
Is their vision to be the least expensive can of paint on the shelves? That implies a cost leadership strategy.
Right.
Or are they the paint choice because our things are going to last 5 years longer? Or maybe offer environmental solar protection? That points towards differentiation.
So the vision sets the overall direction.
Yes, it's the core purpose, the why of the company.
And once that's clear, then you define your values, how you operate.
Exactly. And our sources highlight 12 crucial values that companies really need to consider and communicate. They break them down into key categories.
Okay, what are they?
First, financial values. Things like stability, profitability, investment. These are critical to customers, employees, investors, basically everyone. No one wants to join a company that feels like it's on the verge of bankruptcy.
Makes sense. Stability matters.
Second, community. Giving back to the community. This is a major driver, especially for millennials. Surveys often show they prioritize this even above salary sometimes. It's about social impact.
Okay, financial, community. What else?
Then there are human values, things like developing employees, fostering equity and fairness, being transparent, and enablement, which basically means ensuring employees have the tools and support they need to be successful.
Crucial for employee morale and retention.
Absolutely. And finally, environmental values. Proactive environmental practices. This is increasingly just an expectation, particularly among younger generations like millennials and Gen Z. It's about sustainability and ethical operations. Companies need clear answers for all these values: financial, community, human, environmental, and they must communicate them transparently to attract and retain talent across generations. That's why you see companies like Chevron rebranding themselves, trying to emphasize certain values.
Like calling themselves a human energy company.
Exactly. They're trying to emphasize a specific value proposition beyond just oil and gas to resonate with a workforce that cares about those human and maybe environmental aspects too.
We've covered a lot today on this deep dive into business strategy. We started by really shedding light on what strategy isn't. It's not just wishful thinking or complex budgeting.
Right. It's a clear, deliberate process for gathering ideas and creating actions. Simple, but not easy.
We saw how leaders like Michael Dell, Robert Smith, and Larry Ellison simplify complex decisions, sometimes even down to that strategy on a page. ensuring clarity and accountability right through their organizations.
Mm. And we demystified Michael Porter's 4 competitive strategies, simplifying them into those core choices, choosing to go big or go small in your market focus.
And choosing to go cheap or go expensive with features for your market advantage.
Exactly, that 2x2 framework.
And understanding where a company fits or wants to fit in that framework is so crucial because it dictates its entire approach, from operations to marketing, as we saw with all those examples.
It really does guide everything. And finally, we explored the critical role of values: financial, community, human, and environmental.
And how they, along with a clear vision and mission, shape a company's ability to attract and retain the right people, especially with those generational differences we talked about.
Yeah, it all has to connect: the strategy, the values, the people.
So given everything we've explored today, from Larry Ellison's one-slide strategy to those generational shifts in values, here's a thought for you, our listener.
What would your personal strategy on a page look like? And how would it align with your deepest values?
It's a powerful thought to ponder as you apply these frameworks maybe to your own work, your interests, or even just the companies you interact with every day. Gives you a new lens, doesn't it?
It really does. Food for thought.